Greetings. I'm Dr. Pearl John and welcome to the Other 167. We continue our series on tough questions and tough answers, and we focus on the sub-series Identity, Value and Worth. Today I'd like to title my message Weak but Woven for Wonder. Why do I always feel inadequate? 2 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 9, but he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. The pressure of not enough. Let's be real. There's a whisper that follows many of us around like a shadow. You're not smart enough, not holy enough, not successful enough, not spiritual enough, and the list goes on and on. In a world obsessed with highlights and hustle, inadequacy has become a silent epidemic. You walk into rooms wondering if you belong. You scroll through social media secretly comparing. You set impossible standards and then punish yourself for falling short. But today, we are flipping the narrative because the scripture doesn't cancel your weaknesses, it reframes it. The cross of Christ isn't for those who have it all together, it's for those who admit they don't. Let's look at three liberating truths that will move you from inadequacy to identity. First, weakness is a window, not a wall. 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 9, it says clearly, my power is made perfect in weakness. We've been taught to hide our weakness, cover it, bury it. But what if weakness is the very space where God's strength wants to shine? Years ago, a speaker with a stutter was invited to address a room full of CEOs. Everyone expected polished eloquence, but what they got was raw, stammering truth. By the end, people were in tears. Why? Because weakness made room for wonder. The stutter didn't block the message, it became the message. You know what? You don't have to be flawless to be fruitful. God doesn't need your strength, He needs your surrender. Your weakness isn't a disqualification, it's an invitation. And God's glory loves broken vessels. Secondly, your value isn't your victory. Romans 8:37 says, in all these things, we are more than conquerors through Him who loved us. Here's a radical truth. You're not valuable because you win. You're valuable because you are His. A young violinist performs in a packed concert hall. After the final note, thunderous applause erupts. But the violinist looks up at just one man in the balcony, her teacher. And when he smiles, then she bows. Why? Because his approval is what mattered most. Don't live for applause, dearly beloved. Live from approval, the approval already secured through the cross. God's love isn't earned in your victories, it's etched into your identity. Thirdly, grace is greater than grind. In Ephesians chapter 2, verses 8 to 9, it says, it is by His grace that you have been saved, not by works, so no one can boast. The culture says, grind harder. God says, grace deeper. A corporate leader once shared, I kept climbing ladders until I realized I was leaning on the wrong building. Burnt out, broken, and bitter, he finally turned to grace, not just to save him, but to sustain him. The gospel isn't a treadmill, it's a table. Stop running, sit down, rest in grace. You're not powered by perfection, you're carried by grace. Let me pull this together. Inadequacy is real, but it's not the full story. You may feel weak, you may feel behind, you may feel like you're not enough. But God says, my grace is sufficient. My strength is made perfect in your surrender. And I didn't choose you because you were impressive. I chose you because you were mine. So walk into rooms you feel unqualified for. Say yes to callings that scare you. Live bold even when you feel broken. Because the God in you is greater than the inadequacy around you. This is Pearl John signing off the Other 167. Thank you for watching the Other 167. We continue our series next week. Until then, have a wonderful weekend and a fabulous week ahead. God bless.